can't go any louder. I want you all to know that America today is on bended knee in prayer for the people whose lives were lost here, for the workers who work here, for the families who mourn. This nation stands with the good people of New York City and New Jersey and Connecticut as we mourn the loss of thousands of our citizens. I can hear you. I can hear you. The rest of the world hears you. And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
We need another 9/11. We need it. We need another 9/11. I'm sorry. I'll be the one to say it with a platform. We need a 9/11 like now. Because it was the most beautiful time. I'm choked up. This was the most beautiful time in our country's history. This country doesn't work without 9/11. It only works if there's a 9/11. And you got to explain this to your children. Please explain this to your kids that this country really only works with 9/11. The idea that there could be a 9/11, that there is a 9/11, that there was a 9/11, that more 9/11s are coming, that anywhere at any time there could be a 9/11. That's when America's at its best, when 9/11 is every day. Every day should be 9/11 because that was the only time we felt that way. That's that special way. People were hugging each other. And listen, would it be nice to get there without a 9/11? Yes. I mean, that great Bill Hicks joke. Who needs a war to feel good about themselves? May I suggest sit-ups? Well, we don't do them here, Bill. Sorry, we love you, but 9/11 was it. You know? And it sucks. Starbucks needs another 9/11 because people would be in Starbucks drinking coffee talking about 9/11. We need it. A terrorist attack will set this country on the right course. An amazing course. A course of beauty. People eating cats and dogs isn't enough. It's not enough. Migrants eating cats isn't making people feel great. Trump, imagine that. Trump in the middle of that park in Ohio with a megaphone saying, and we hear you, and the migrants who are eating these cats are going to stop. It's just not the same anymore. Is it the same? And the migrants who eat these cats and dogs are not going to do it anymore. It just doesn't feel... Now, play the USA chant. Just keep playing this. I mean...
The nation sends its love.
No, it's already over. It's already... This is, by the way, there's nothing worse when you have a great closer trying to go back. It's like you get the big laugh and then you keep going. The nation sends its love. No. But I'll tell you this. Being a kid and growing up at that time, we were all told that the people who did this hated us for our freedom because we had shopping malls and we had amusement parks and we had cool shit like video games like Tekken 2 with the bear. Now, a lot of they didn't have Tekken 2. Get Tekken 2 up, please, and show people.
Kuma.
People didn't have this. You see, we had Tekken 2. We had Tekken 3. I'm not even going in. I'm just saying they didn't have it. And that's why they attacked us on 9/11. Then you grew up, and then the only way to fix this was to go into their countries, decapitate the leadership of those countries, and then encourage democracy because these people in these countries really wanted democratic pro-Western leaders. Ugh. Well, we found out that that wasn't true. It was not true. It just wasn't true. But we believed it. I believed it. I thought it was a great idea. Give them Tekken 2. Who would fly a plane into a building if they had Tekken 2? So that was the Bush doctrine. We were going to preemptively attack and invade countries that may or may not or may in the future harbor terrorists that could get access to weapons of mass destruction. We could no longer wait till the war came to our shores. It was the prerogative of the United States government to preempt any threat that would come and get us all when we were all on the subway heading to a Yankee game. If we didn't invade Afghanistan and Iraq, the subway cars would fill with sarin gas and you would choke and die. Or there'd be a suitcase nuke, a little nuke in a little roll-on. Terrorism all over the place unless we did these things. Unless we solved the problem of the Middle East. Well, how are we going to solve it? Well, they want Tekken 2. Then we learned that they actually didn't really want Tekken 2. They didn't, or Tekken 3. That the country of Iraq was 3 warring groups of people who hated each other and wanted to kill each other. And the only person that could really keep these 3 groups in check was Saddam Hussein, a dictator who, when one of them tried to kill the other one, Saddam said, "I'll kill everybody if you don't." Have you ever seen a mother at the end of her wits driving her kids around in a minivan and the kids are all fighting with each other and the mother turns around and says some version of, "I'm going to kick everyone's ass"? That was Saddam Hussein, okay? And yes, he was a brutal dictator, and his sons Uday and Qusay had rape rooms and torture rooms and all of the rooms that you can have when you have ultimate power. But we had imagined that if we just took Saddam Hussein out, then the people in Iraq were going to say, "Great, thank you," and become Western. It just wasn't real. The term for this was neoconservatism, for those of you who are dummies. Neoconservatism was about a new international rules-based order that was going to be primarily enforced by the United States military or coalition with the U.S. and Britain. They advanced a unilateral promotion of democracy and interventionism in international affairs, together with a militaristic and realist philosophy of peace through strength. Long story short, it's our job to remake the world in our image so they don't fuck with us. Now, the only thing that, of course, leaves out is remaking the world in our image is one of the reasons some of these people wanted to fuck with us. And then we had to come to a very uncomfortable place where we kind of lost both those wars. We withdrew from Afghanistan 20 some odd years later. And I don't know what the fuck's going on in Iraq, but it's certainly not what we wanted to happen. So now we've realized that this experiment, this grand experiment that we went on, failed. We spent like $8 trillion on these wars. We killed like 1 million Iraqis. Lots of U.S. servicemen and women died. And we don't feel any safer than we were. So the legacy of 9/11 and what happened afterwards was the permanent distrust of the United States federal government when it came to matters of war and peace for people in my generation. COVID, the permanent legacy of COVID, is the complete distrust in our government when it comes to domestic issues. And that's all the issues, foreign and domestic. So in my lifetime, I've seen two of the biggest disasters. I'm not saying this can't be reversed at some time in the future, but the legacy of 9/11, the wars that bankrupted America, that did nothing to advance us, And all these people that were so dangerous, that were subscribed to this ideology of radical Islam that was very destructive and dangerous, all have to be allowed into America now. We spent billions and billions of dollars to try to eradicate these philosophies and ideologies, and it doesn't work. It actually doesn't work. The Taliban's committed. They're true believers. They waited 20 years, and now they're back. They're back. And we have to give Israel all this money, billions and billions of dollars, because Israel says, and I'm sure there's elements of truth to this and a lot of bullshit as well, that the philosophy that animates Hamas you cannot reason with people that believe this, right? I don't know that that is true. But the big inconsistency here for people that are my age is that now all of the people who are supposedly so dangerous, that subscribed to this murderous ideology, that again, it was not Islam. We're not talking about the religion. We're talking about this kind of perverted political fusion of Islam, kind of have to be allowed into the United States of America. They have to be allowed here. And if you oppose it in any way, you're some type of racist, or you hate people, or but you might just be wondering how this all works. You know? How is this all going to work? That's what people in Europe wonder, and that's what people in the UK wonder. But that's the legacy of 9/11. It's buffoonery from all sides, and realist truths about what different people in the world value and actually want. Not everybody wants shopping malls. Not everybody wants amusement parks. Not everybody wants Tekken 2. There are people that simply want to kill people that disagree with them. And those are cultural beefs that have existed forever, that are not my business, and they're no one's business. And they're not going to be solved by a McGriddle. You're not going to solve this by giving everyone a McGriddle. That's the issue. We thought we could. We thought we'd go in there with American capitalism, and that everybody who had been warring forever, Sunni and Shiite and Kurd and all that stuff, it was all going to be good. It was all going to be okay if we just went in there and injected some good old-fashioned American capitalism. That's why a lot of people in my generation have become sort of, they've embraced this kind of isolationist foreign policy. We don't get excited about the war in Ukraine. We don't get excited about an unending commitment to whatever Israel's doing.